can go live there.
Oh,
Perfect. I want to welcome everyone to the committee meeting of the Township of Archery Valley. Today's May 17th. The time is 3:08 p.m. We're all meeting in the council chambers. Is there any additions to the agenda? Councillor Sisson?
Yes,
I put some grease on that, Barry.
I don't know why it's doing that. Unmuted.
please make it stop.
hello? Volume has to be turned
Oh,
Definitely needs grease.
Chalkboard. No.
on. Very good.
Here. Still coming through here, that's why.
Love that.
Love technology.
Okay, yes, on hold.
cheap.
When it works, it's perfect.
That's
When it
terrible
doesn't,
though.
I know.
That's a terrible sound.
Oh, it doesn't bother me actually.
Really?
Oh, it's
Young,
Oh,
yeah,
Tracy, Kevin, Tracy.
You're
Yeah.
fine. It's just here. When you went on, it wasn't coming through your headset, it was
Okay.
coming through here. Oh, no problem.
they're out.
Friends good,
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
But they had not met.
oh,
Don't worry about it. No, here, it's because you're. Oh, okay.
But you can't hear.
Yeah.
You're
Sorry,
good
It's all
there,
good.
Sandra? Perfect. So we'll take it back. So is there any additions to the agenda, Councillor Sisson?
yes, I just want to add a little discussion about Brooker's cider.
So that's number 4. Councillor Rosner,
Nope.
Mayor Murphy.
I've got number 5, fundraiser for the Ukraine.
Mhm.
Number 6, I have an update on 512 and Hydron Bell. I'm sorry, again, all of these things just came up after our agenda went out. While Kevin is here, I'd like to talk about Taste of the Valley.
Okay, so that's
Yep.
7. do you have any
And
more?
I see Kevin's got on his, the EACDG was wondering about signs at McCrae about overnight camping, not parking, camping.
Okay, so number 8. we
Yeah.
can discuss that in Kevin's as well.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Actually, we can do the fundraiser for Ukraine while Kevin's here as well.
Yeah, I'll put it on new unfinished business if
Yeah.
there's discussion following, but
Yeah.
I'll discuss it under Kevin's
Yeah.
report. That's fine. Okay, anything more? Perfect.
Thank you.
Councillor Buckwald, you're good, and I'm good myself as well. So could I have an approval of the agenda, please? Councillor Sisson, all those in favor? Perfect, thank you very much. Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, could I please have an approval of the minutes of the committee meeting on May 3rd? Mayor Murphy, all those in favor? Perfect, thank you very much. We do have a delegation today. I want to welcome Tracy Sanderson to, she's coming on behalf of the BV Youth Programming Group. So you can come have a seat, Tracy.
Thanks.
Just want to welcome you on behalf of the Montreal Valley Council. We have Councillor Sisson.
Nice to meet you.
We have Councillor Rosner,
Yes,
we have
thank you.
Mayor Murphy, who I'm sure you're familiar with, and we have Councillor Buckwald, and I'm Councillor Patrick and stuff. You can address us, we all flipped our tags, so you can see, and I'm fine if you call me Brent, it's.
Okay.
doesn't hurt my
I've been
feelings.
warned.
Yeah, I did give Tracy a heads up.
Yeah.
So just before Tracy gets her awesome presentation going, I just wanted to give everyone a refresher on the background of this committee. This was formed out of a whole bunch of great volunteers. There was a Facebook post on It Takes a Village about youth programming in Eganville and Montreal Valley. And obviously over the last couple of years, we haven't been able to do anything, especially at the arena due to vaccination requirements. So Tracy very kindly picked up the charge, is chairing our little committee, and we've had a few meetings. just to spitball some ideas. She put together a survey that went out. She got 40 responses very quickly, very
We
quickly.
need some more, but that's okay.
Yep, but thank you, Tracy. I truly appreciate it, and I'm happy to be a part of this committee, and I'm looking forward to the rest of council seeing your presentation.
So I think that most people can agree that COVID was pretty difficult and really difficult on children. I have three boy teens. So they've been a little cooped up and playing on games. So been part of the conversation with other moms and what can we do in the area. I know that there's been a ton of activity in the past, but COVID's kind of killed many things. So if we want to just flip the slide there, I think that'd be great. So the objectives of this survey was identify existing programs and then potential ones that we could introduce to council, introduce in the area for Bone Shore Valley. We developed a survey. I've actually had 40 responses as of this morning. And I've developed sort of open-ended questions within the survey so people can contribute thoughts, ideas on any potential collaboration we might want to make. Like one of the things came through was Mad Outdoor. You know, they'll come to town and do an event, a demonstration. So there's lots of different things like that that we might be able to collaborate and not necessarily start anything new. Want to flip the slide there again a minute, please? There we go. So we have had 40 responses. So interesting breakdown of, so we identified in the survey child and youth. So children under up to age 18, sorry. So this is the breakdown of how many children there are in the area that people have responded to, significantly more males and females. Flip the slide, yeah. So I wanted to know what their child is currently, so this is the age, I'm sorry. So you can look at this and see that there are a lot of young children within the town, right? There's, 33% are ages 6 months to 4 years old, and then almost half are ages 5 to 11. So it's that group thinking of activities, what would appeal to them. Not necessarily skating because they're a little young yet. We asked people if they thought there's enough activities in the area, and as you can see, 95% say no, and then the other don't know. So we wanted to know if any of their children were currently involved in any activities. So it looks like 72%, which is pretty high. I think. So what's this one? So where we wanted to know where their location was. Do they drive out of Eganville to take these activities? And you can see the majority of them do participate in town versus other areas. I have identified on the bottom there's some of the other areas that people drive to. So that's good. It shows that there's a lot here already for some of the kids. And this probably doesn't surprise anyone with hockey being high, hockey, baseball, and then just swimming. So we took, what are the current activities? And then I think the next slide is identifying. Okay, so people identified other activities that went on the random, on our delegated list. So that's some of the other things that people had suggested. So current, so what does your child like to do in their spare time? I'm really surprised there wasn't a lot more playing on Netflix, watching TV shows, because I know my teens are. So a lot of kids spend time outdoors. So that could be, I know this area is popular, biking, swimming, cottaging, that kind of stuff.
Tracy and I decided at our last meeting that spending time with family was probably on screens.
Yeah, that's the highest one, 34, right? 34 respondents, 87%. You can switch this slide. So these are the ideas. This is the slide that we want to look at. We had asked people in the survey, what do they want to do? Because there's a lot of conversation on the Facebook group ideas and how people get involved. So you can see from here, one of the ones at the top was utilizing the rink for roller skating and rollerblading. And I don't know if you saw Renfrew currently introduced roller skating again. They have a drop-in fee, $2, and people are required. Is it 10? Oh, 10, sorry.
$10. We talked about $2.
Yeah. And people are required to bring their own equipment. So there's really isn't an onus on the township to provide that unless there's an entrepreneur that wants to come in and do that, rent it out. So that's a pretty high one. So if you look at the list, there's not a lot of things that are costs that's, you need to spend a lot of money doing. So rollerblading's there, you already have the rink, archery and paintball are high. So we're thinking about if it was feasible, where in town could we do this? Not to say that we need to do all of this. I think we talked about shortening the list and said what is possible now. And then
just for this year,
right? Yeah.
We whittled it down to 5 so that it doesn't fall on our, we only have 2 recreation people.
Yeah.
So everything doesn't fall on Kevin and Emma. Some of the 5 are volunteer driven. So like all of these ideas are amazing, but I think Tracy and Kayla and I agreed that if we brought it to something manageable, we could start fairly soon with some of the ideas.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be organized as a competitive sport would be,
Right.
hockey or
Mhm.
baseball or the other. Like, paintball is pretty, it's equipment and people would have their own equipment. So it's just organizing a time and a place. Same with paddling the boncher, that already happens, but maybe it's more of a frequent activity than just, I think it's, I don't know how many times a year it is. It once a summer? Yeah, so maybe it's a weekly thing or coordinating, canoe and kayak club with Nat Outdoor or something like that. So that's sort of the list of activities, scavenger hunt, geocaching, that's an excellent one, and that's something that high school students can get involved. You can collaborate with Obiango, there's kids that need their volunteer hours, that may want to help the younger generation.
Absolutely, Tracy. So I'm looking at your survey and it's very accurate within my own household as well. So when I'm looking at your age groups and such, and I think a big reason is with your 5 to 11 being the biggest target. That was the time when my kids were the busiest with things and stuff too, Jenna with the library and doing the softball and stuff, because when she got to high school, and that's I think why that age group kind of tapers off there. She's got so much going on there now. And she doesn't do so much now, just
Studying too.
well, it's a lot. She has a job, plus she does the studying, but she's got, I think, about a 89 to 93% average all across her subjects. But she also is actively involved in a lot of sports. And one thing what the high school does, and I think that's why your survey response, that there's always volleyball, there's baseball, there's rugby. She had to choose between that all.
Right.
And when they get to that age, they've got accommodation for rides home with the bus and stuff. So I can see where, your survey, it's dead on. Because once they're into that age group, they're a little more self-reliant, as your teenage boys, of course, and they're able to do and carry on. And I think our target should be, that 5 to 11 area,
Even
because
5
that's
to 15.
Yeah, so that's where the lacking is, and to some of your points there, like archery, that's an indoor thing. If we could coordinate something with Kevin there, outdoor or indoor, it doesn't matter, because they used to do it at school, right?
Well,
Like inside.
It's funny, so Tim is a member of the gun club.
Oh, okay.
And at our last meeting, I suggested that maybe we contact the gun club, and I think it was Kayla that was gonna do that for us, to see if they, because the bunkers are already there.
We already have an archery range set up out there as well. So,
There is?
oh yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. There is an archery range set up at the Eagle District Sportsman's Club. And now hopefully with these everything relaxing a little bit where people can enjoy things again.
So is there an age limit at the gun club?
There's no age limit whatsoever.
Really?
No, so, the thing is, if you have somebody that's an active member, right, they can do anything there,
I've seen
absolutely.
paintball as well. I mean, the thing with the younger group that I see is there's a lot of teenagers who need their volunteer hours. And I know with my teen boys, they're looking for jobs now. It's not easy to get a job if you haven't done anything, right? If you haven't volunteered or participated in an activity, or they can lead many of these things.
See, and that's where Owen got his volunteer hours, we're volunteering at the Eagle Sportsman's Club, doing cleanups and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
But
So-
even like things like this too, I've done a lot of volunteer things with kids and leading things, but it give them sort of make them feel empowered, right? That they're
Absolutely.
leading a younger group. It's like guides or brownies or things like that,
Absolutely.
that you're having
Yeah.
as leaders.
And another one that really, I know Jenna is really fond of, is the geocaching and the scavenger hunt. That's a big thing with
Yeah.
that, that age group, and she just, as soon as I said geocaching there a week or two ago, she just lit right up, and,
Yeah.
she was going about it.
And in one of our meetings, we were talking about, how special the Easter egg hunt was and how well attended it was. And then I look back to the Amazing Race years ago that was so popular. And I think getting when you're talking about something like that, you could be talking about families going
Getting
out together
involved,
and geocaching or just a general scavenger hunt.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
no, it's fantastic, but like I say, looking at your survey, I can see that it's very spot on from, what's going on in my own household, so.
It
sure.
seems like, I don't know if parents of teens really answered this because of your point that many of them are already busy in high school, but.
And you're probably gonna notice that, Tracy, and that's what I mean, there's always gonna be some that always say that there's nothing to do, but there's usually are lots of options.
Yeah.
But I do know in that 5 to 11 is a good category to target to enhance the.
It seemed to me as there's younger families here.
There are.
If you follow the conversation and the groups on Facebook, there's many new people coming to town. with young
Absolutely.
children.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And not to say that there's not a lot of activities, I think it's communicating, right? They're kind of all over the place and that's may not be, we talked about making like a list with links and.
And before the meeting, Brent actually asked me about this and said, have we coordinated with the library? And I said, next steps was to sort of data mine and compile. I think Kayla was saying, if we include the curling club, the Echo Center,
Yeah.
the library,
Opiongo.
Opiongo, that's right. So then you compile a list of everything. So number one, our volunteer committee isn't duplicating anything, which would be silly. But also could we help communicate out through those different entities?
Well, it's no
What's
different.
going
Like,
on?
the library started like doing a games night about probably 2 months ago, and they have a solid core of like 4 people that do like magic cards every time there's a games night and stuff like that. So then that core group of friends and stuff now every week they get together, which is good, and that's what you want. And it's self-run now.
Yeah.
It's exactly kind of, which
Yeah.
is really nice, but no.
Yeah,
we'll,
like- maybe on the township page, you'd have one dedicated page, like an Insta page, whatever, that just has
Mhm.
name, links, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you tweet it out, share it on social, that it's all in one spot.
Yes, we did have the discussion about keeping it current so that people aren't showing up somewhere on a Thursday afternoon and the thing has been canceled.
I think if you just do the link, that
Yeah.
people, onus is on them and not you.
I
right?
agree.
The organization that you're copying, or promoting.
Yeah.
So as you can see from the list, it's not a lot of things with a lot of money and people are required to, in many cases, bring their own equipment. So I don't know if there's funding opportunities for things that, when we get to the short list to talk about, what would you need to? I know you had the lending hub, but maybe there's something for the roller skating. I mean, I think the Gen Xers and boomers should show the kids how to do it, right? At the roller rink.
Yeah,
You wanna see me on roller skates?
I'm sure you were skating back in the day.
I can't stop.
okay, so now I'm picturing Tim with a headband and leg warmers.
Sean Cassidy kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So is it rolling brisket is the best way to do it.
Yes. No, but back in the day.
That was
I-
mean.
We were talking about before, he
Brisket
kept
is
talking about
awesome.
he eats a 25-pound.
You are what you eat there, right? No, but even Logos Land, I don't know if they offer anything anymore, but they used to have rollerblading back when it was good. And I used to go out to Logos Land and rollerblade, and it was fantastic.
Okay,
A little off, well, I think Panorama has
they used to have a roller derby, they don't.
but but they have an outdoor rollerblading track, yeah.
I thought that was Laurentian Valley.
Laurentian Valley, yeah.
But we were
So
gonna
then-
have
so
a
then-
league here a number of years ago, that everything went south.
Yeah.
Tracy, you have
that
more,
was at a
you have
beach
more
park.
slides as well.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
couple more.
Perfect.
Sorry about
So we'll
that.
just flip to the next one.
Yeah. So recommendations, shortlisted, Jennifer and I talked about this last week. So this is sort of the things that we could do now that wouldn't take a lot of effort.
Geocache.
Yeah, and so roller skating, blading at the rink, people required to bring their own equipment. I don't know about liability issues or if there's alcohol in the Eagle's Nest or any of that stuff, but
But I don't see it any different than
Skating.
public skating.
No.
yeah.
So I would now involve Kevin in this discussion. So Kevin, I see this as being run exactly the same as public skating. We find sponsors, we charge $2 a pop. It's drop in, you come, you rollerblade, you roller skate, throw on a little music, disco, of course.
Disco balls.
It's gotta be disco. I insist on it, like Bee Gees and yeah.
We're on the same page.
Then if, as Tracy said, if some entrepreneur wanted to come along and try a rental, then you know, even maybe the people that run blades, I don't know where they're at, but I see this as an opportunity to use an asset that we're not using right now.
Absolutely, the only little hiccup that could occur is, like this year's not a great deal of a problem. But down the road, if the ice surface is rented out for wedding receptions and that, tables and chairs, stage is all set up. So
Okay.
how do we maneuver?
So why not do it on a Sunday afternoon like we normally do? That is not when public skating is.
That is correct, but all the
Yeah,
chairs and
take
tables.
Oh,
we set on the
nothing's-
surface.
You'd have to
Nothing's
take-
torn down.
You have a
Okay.
wedding Saturday night.
So that's-
But it's not, it's something you say.
Oh, no, I'm
Yeah,
just
okay,
saying
so
that-
but for this year, it's doable.
For this year, well, we're setting up right now for the event that's coming up in June. So.
You're setting up now for June 17th?
It's away 3-4 weeks.
It's a month.
month away.
It's a full month away.
Well, I'd say if we have an outdoor rink too, that could accommodate the same on a nice day. You know, if it's raining outside, that can come into the rink.
But how
Okay.
long does it take to set up, Kim? Like,
Well, right
You,
now,
you have summer students, right?
I have 3 summer students.
So you're setting
got
up,
some
how many-
muscle.
you're setting up how many tables for this?
There's about 75 tables and close to 450 chairs,
Chairs.
plus everything else, stage,
Yeah,
platforms and all that. Like it takes,
couple days. So, three
July.
students.
Even if it was a week,
Yeah.
You can start in July.
we could start in July.
I was gonna say, why don't we just allow Kevin and Ed to go over the details of putting it
Yeah.
together and
And
stuff.
then some advertising needs to go out, same as public skating, $2 a pop. I'd be happy to sponsor one of the public skating nights. I think it'd be fun. And if Renfrew's doing it at $10 a pop, there's obvious, and people are interested. So,
absolutely, we absolutely try it and see what the response is. It doesn't look.
this is what I'm saying. Yeah, even the week after the event. So that would be what, June 24th? Or June 23rd if you want to do it on a Friday afternoon.
You skating?
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
then we're getting into close to Canada Day as well, right?
Yeah,
So,
but there's nothing going on at the Arena for Canada. Day.
no, so that's what I mean,
Yeah.
but like we could be doing that, let them play,
Yeah.
let them use it.
Exactly.
It's a big building that
Yeah.
everybody
This is,
can use.
and this is the discussion that this little committee has had over and over and over again. We have assets that are not being used and have not been used, no fault of ours, for the past 2.5 years. We have to get people back out.
Well, and that's the thing, it's going to be, and you're probably even gonna see a little bit of a lag. And, people are still stuck in that mindset until people start getting back into their prior to 2020 mindset. You know, I'm sure you'll see more participation and more, more attendance, more drive for things as time goes on.
I agree. I think a Canada Day scavenger hunt would be fun.
Well, we talked about another idea is that we're still thinking through is a business market in town. It's another mom and I who are putting ideas together for that, or whether piggybacking the farmer's market and having a night market, business market, so local businesses to showcase and promote their products and services. But it could be July, that July 1st could be a big event,
Yeah,
launching that and roller skating or something.
yeah, it could.
So then,
So there is a volunteer that is willing to do child and youth yoga, but she needs some space. And, we understand that giving space away for free, Tracy and I have talked about this, sets a precedent. But is there a nominal fee that we could charge to either use the youth center or the Eagle's Nest for youth and child yoga? That would be more palatable. So if the volunteer charged $5 per child, do we charge her $2 per child?
It's the same concept for the music club too, right?
Yeah.
If you do any arts and crafts, that was another high one.
Yeah, So I'm just putting it out to council to sort of feel you out, especially since Kevin's here and we're gonna have to do some coordinating.
Well, my thoughts are if it's on a volunteer base, just minimal as possible, right? Because that's,
Mhm.
you know, it's not like an event where someone is, when you have a wedding, for example, it's a personal event, right? This is more of a public, everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of along the same lines as our public skating, so to speak. So I think that,
So a $2 drop-in fee, no matter what you're doing, no
you know,
matter
something to
who's,
help cover the cost of the lights or whatever it may
Ex-
be, and someone that's attending, but
yeah,
that's it, right? I don't want it to be,
I don't want it to be expensive.
no,
Because things are already too expensive for parents.
Well, I was gonna say, like, a lot of the events, you wouldn't even have a nominal fee or anything.
No.
It's kind of meritless in the sense that most of all the users are paying for services anyways.
that's right,
Hasn't been available last 2 years, so like,
yeah.
some events, like specific ones, it's always good to
Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with that because we have the buildings, we have the stuff anyway. The
Okay,
it's more-
hydro's going to them,
there you
you
go.
know, a
It's
few
it's more
bucks.
just working the programming schedule in conjunction with
Yeah.
staff members, so
Yeah.
that's a conversation outside of our.
we were just worried that we'd come here and say, can we waive the fees? And you guys might say, well, if we do that, we're gonna have to do it for everybody. But
It's a different circumstance, right?
okay.
It's not like I say, a private entity coming in and using
Well,
our
no,
But
facility.
the woman's charging for yoga, right? The mom, like she is making money. This is her income doing yoga.
I think we'd have to check that with her, yes.
Yeah, so if it's
Yeah.
not, she's not for profit, so she's making a profit. So that's the
Oh,
only caveat to this.
Then that would be a discussion I think that we would bring. back.
Individual circumstances,
Yes.
something like
I
that,
think
where,
that-
Yeah, I think that's also, yeah, like, I
No.
think what you want to hear from what I gather is that is council supportive of the initiative, obviously, it sounds like everyone is. And we just want to see how we can bring youth programming to the community. So I guess moving forward, then, is there anything else from council that you require?
I think it's, I agree on what it is, like if it's this list, what's the art of possible that we can do? And then the survey, unfortunately, only had a couple of volunteers. I asked for volunteers, so there's only a couple, so we'll need to identify, of those things that we agree on, who can lead each initiative.
So this list might change based on the volunteers.
It's anything with children, with
Yeah,
kids
but-
and
but-
parents.
Yeah.
right?
That might volunteer. Like
Yeah.
this might-
And that's,
as long as it
and that's
stays in-
perfectly fine, because the thing is you want your ball, you want it to be pretty much volunteer driven anyway, so the interest are gonna change the community, it's a service you provide, people will show up, that's great,
Yeah.
if they don't. then
Just like many
that's
things,
enough.
soccer, baseball, if you don't have volunteers, it's not gonna work.
and also,
Exactly.
we all have kids and we all know that sometimes they like doing things and sometimes they don't, they change their mind, so we understand,
Yeah.
right? It's,
I wanna play guitar.
uh,
No, now I
yeah,
wanna take
so-
ballet.
Oh, I know. And I just really too, because my twins are 15 and my other one's 18, he's leaving us soon, but it's like, what can I get them to do? But how can I get them to lead some of these things? Because they, they're in a weird age right now. where they don't
Yeah.
want to do
Well, they
anything.
need to develop their leadership skills.
Yeah,
after 2
exactly, and
years
they
of
need it for their
non-working.
resume.
But no, you're absolutely hit the nail on the head, and it's also a good because they do need 40 hours of
Yeah.
volunteer hours for their high school diploma these days.
Mhm.
It's good to get that out in the community too, for people in that age group that do have a special skill or capability of doing, either a musical talent or whatever. And there are a lot of kids that can, do
Definitely.
that thing, get them encouraged, get that announced out there somehow, that we can get them on board to start looking after the smaller kids
Social
too.
media, I mean, these kids
Absolutely.
are talented talents that we
Yeah.
didn't have as teenagers, right, with technology.
So moving forward, it sounds like council's good with what's
Okay.
going on so far. So I guess we'll just leave it to your group to discuss with like the staff members, being
How we're
Kevin
gonna
and
do it,
Ed,
yeah.
and just on what, and then we can look at it later, but it's really just, let's just get it done.
And exactly, so, and if we have a teenager basically helping a group, under the supervision or whatever it may be. We, that I don't mind, like I say, with the total waive of fees, but if there is someone in there doing something for profit, of course, we'll have to do that on a case-by-case deal and see what the deals are.
And of course, right now, kid yoga would be proof of concept, right? So maybe we allot 4 weeks, like 1 day a week for 4 weeks.
Well, I think
See if it's-
I think it is more a discussion with the group group to figure out what their program is gonna look like with us.
Yeah. they
Like
really-
outside of this conversation, like this conversation's more council supportive of the idea, so let's see what the group and staff can bring forward.
Okay,
Yeah,
And that's
like I
really
say, I
about
just
it.
wanted to get into the fee end of it on that end, and that's my only, issue is if it may be a profit enterprise or
100%.
entity, that we will visit that one, but if it's just a volunteer, kids getting involved in community spirit and doing their things other than vandalizing our parks,
yeah,
we're in favor, so.
Keep them busy.
Absolutely.
So I think as a next step too is another survey is for youth. I'd like to write something that gets the, crowdsourcing ideas from teenagers. Like,
for
these are the
sure.
things we've come up with. How would you like to contribute? to
I love
your
it.
hours?
All right, I'll hook you up with Kevin. I'll send you his email, send you her email. And we can plan a little committee meeting and maybe include Kevin.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
Thank you,
very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just before we have kept, do you have the second half of the agenda there, Murph?
No, I don't.
I only got the first page.
I know, I don't. No.
Oh, it was only, it was only one.
It's only one page.
It's only one pager.
I don't have any,
The other,
he's
the
only
other,
got an 8.5 by 11.
the other sheet just said closed session on top, and that was the whole sheet was blank.
yeah, no, I just,
No.
the new and unfinished, I
You don't
didn't
have
have any of
anything
that.
Oh, you didn't have any there?
Kevin, you can
No,
come up
Murph
to
give
the
it to me
table.
there.
Oh, the
so
library.
Keep it short, don't
Yeah.
worry.
I'll look at yours.
So I.
Perfect.
You guys can snuggle.
Highlight, just the highlights.
Yeah, 'cause we skipped the rest ones.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yes. That's great, guys. Thank you so much. I'm very excited.
Okay, Kevin, go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, we'll try to shorten everything up as much as possible here. The arena for where we are right now, so Jen, you just kind of touched on the event on the 7th.
Oh, yeah, okay, so, Gerald Tracy is organizing a fundraiser for Ukraine, on June 17th. And, the note that he sent out to me was, would we donate? Also, not only the municipality, but looking for donations. But it was suggested, that perhaps we waive the fee on the arena for this event as, Bonashir Valley's donation.
Sure.
Yes?
Well, yeah. But we noticed the challenge from, was it Arm Prior regarding the Ukraine, $1,000 donation?
Oh, well, we're doing our own here.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's why I didn't even make a note of that one because I knew that we were doing this. Good,
good.
all right.
Centennial Park, Ricky Shooter is replacing the fence. He's said in a couple weeks' time, so that will get rolling, so. And we got all the lights repaired, we just gotta put them up. Anyways, we talked about the inserting of another chunk of pipe, and it was meant to cost the inside, it's a certain size and it's aluminum.
Mhm.
So one piece, 12 feet long or 16 feet long was $1,200.
Hmm.
So I didn't go that route. I just went and repaired them all, and we may rethink this down the road and go with stronger or gold metal.
Yep.
And destroy it.
Galvanized.
What type of pipe is that?
It's
Just
aluminum
aluminum
now.
Yeah.
It's very thin, very thin.
aluminum pipe.
Yeah. And the thing is, we talked about putting a sleeve in it, and if you put a metal sleeve in, then you're gonna have oxide.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, be careful with steel and aluminum because
Well,
they'll fight each
hopefully-
other and
hopefully
be powder in a week.
Programming takes over pushing over lights in Centennial and then we're good to go.
Yeah. Anyways, that's an update on that, so that's
So
where.
they fight one another for sure.
Mhm.
Some cable down the post.
The village, bridge on the gates, waiting for a quote, second quote, it's hopefully get it this week. Beaver Tails made a donation to food bank.
Very nice.
Yeah. Everything, the village,
Back to light post, I don't know if it sounds practical or not, but I have witnessed it in other municipalities. What they have done was they have taken real black fifth wheel grease in Brunel and did the Letterkenny signs because of the show
Yeah.
Letterkenny, right? And they coated the posts in on the Letterkenny signs, on Letterkenny
I
Road.
believe we did that with the Harry Dick signs one year, did we not?
So
Yes.
does it, has it
It'd be-
deterred them at that point in time?
It'd be good until the kids start playing with it.
Well, I don't know, a certain amount of feet, because you couldn't do it at the base, even if you were a couple feet up, or the little kids couldn't get it. But-
They would try.
But you'd know who did it, and it would be, it's just that, because I haven't seen it in other municipalities, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
You
Somebody
done it here.
said it- somebody sending you a laundry bill because they leaned up.
Yeah,
against
no
somebody got
kidding.
well,
Yeah,
Laundry bill,
But-
you mean replacing clothes
Yeah.
bill?
oh, yeah, she ain't coming in.
Perfect. Kevin, carry on.
Legion Field, ball has started, last 2 nights, rained out last night, rained out again tonight, water line in the field, just the way it is. Eddie Shooter prepped the field for us, cultivated and no charge. Volleyball, nets, tennis courts, everything up and running. Splash pad up and running, great response last weekend, lots of people.
Good.
Foy mount play structure. If, as of right now, we get, if you want it in 2023, we gotta order it now,
What if we wanted it in 2022?
not happening.
Well, I thought, or at budget, I thought we just went over and clean up all the landscaping this year.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
I was just playing with Kevin there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I knew the landscaping that was, but then we talked last week,
About getting a price.
getting a
Yeah.
price on it,
Yeah.
so the 2023 price is $16,000. So anyways, that's where we are with that. Yeah, if you ordered it today, you wouldn't get it 2023, and she never gave me a date, so. So that's where we are. But anyways, I just want to let you know about that.
Perfect.
Man,
So we kind of covered the volunteer committee. That was 2 cameras in the Centennial Park. I reached out to our IT guy, giving me a price idea what we need, and about 2,000 would, that's the higher side of it, but that's where we are. What's your feeling on that, or what's?
that sounds expensive.
Could we just put up a deer camera like during the summer months? That's about
I
it.
think we tried that at one point and it didn't, it was about,
Two grand, is that gonna be that you can visual look at it, is that just,
That's
it's
correct.
recording and?
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be recording?
Recording, it'll keep for about 7 days, same that we have right now.
So
It's out
it
here.
just overlap,
Yeah.
same thing I have.
Into a loop.
yeah,
Goes into loop.
Because you have some right
sounds-
now right at the end of the Centennial Bridge.
I do.
Correct?
I
Eh?
do,
Like,
yeah.
You're just looking for where the outdoor rink pretty much
I
is.
was hoping maybe put 2, is one at the outdoor rink and the other one going up towards the gazebo, and maybe pick up maybe the bit of band shell. I don't know how.
Wherever the most damage is played, you know better than anyone where the most damage occurs every year. You know,
Yeah,
point them in that direction if we are doing it.
But is this year more like,
this is an exceptional.
this is an exceptional year? So the thing
So-
is that should. Yeah, like in other years, have we had like the last 5 years, have we had the same issues? Really just this year, right?
so a Ring camera wouldn't work? The camera's made by Ring, I mean,
I'm not sure, Jim. I have no idea.
So what is the purpose of this camera? If you catch them, you're going to,
Well,
I don't even think you can lay charges even if you catch them with this.
the thing is with that is, Jack, in the winter time, we had footage and pretty good visual face recognition, and it was a door visit by the OPP.
Yeah, it's
So,
about what you want to get.
yeah, unless you actually catch them in the act. You know, you can't-
Even if you catch them, the OPP is reluctant to. Unless, but anyways. I would suggest, did you look outside of another supplier for,
I have not.
because I would,
that's my yard.
there's other, there's,
And not just like,
how much is
It's
that
like $300.
for the camera?
You,
What does it do at,
Yeah.
would you be putting this where it's lit at night, these cameras?
Look at that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Though, there
Because-
one will be, Jack.
Because if they're not lit, you're sort of defeating the
Would
purpose.
this be the same setup pretty much? Because you have it at the splash pad.
That's
right
correct,
now.
yeah.
You have two set up there right now?
No, just one.
Just
Careful,
one?
Jen, you
And then
swiped that. Is that
what's
your
the price
bedroom?
comparison between the splash pad one and the new installation of these ones?
I mean, like
I don't
literally,
know,
they're
Brent,
300 bucks.
One of the biggest thing hookup.
Doesn't look like
They
it's
have no
working.
Wi-Fi
Wow.
service down there at the Centennial Park, so they got the break, because it's
Yeah.
no bell line into the Centennial Park, that's some of the costs. that they get it in. No, which is in service.
No,
That's a good question.
I'm just saying, like, if it's not lit at night, you're gonna defeat your purpose.
Yeah.
And there are, like, I don't know, the cost to me seems high. The reason why I'm saying that, I've purchased cameras and they're not that high
Yeah.
from like a person who does, like a company who does this for a living. You know what I mean?
Once,
It's this is where we're getting this through our IT guy.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So he has his markup and everything on top of it.
But the other thing about the ring
Yeah.
is that you can have it alert you if there's motion.
But if we're gonna have one
So
system,
if-
you don't want it across the board anyway, so we have it at the splash
This
pad.
still, the reason why this is a little short, the reason why this is still more, because we have to run new wiring, this is all new, Centennial Park, that run wiring, do the hookup. And get Bell to come and do the hookup for us too.
So you're going to the hookup, you're going to have your repeater
That's
then
awesome.
at the site, and it's gonna upload to your,
At the,
At the arena.
right at the ring.
That's what.
so it's gonna be transmitted via,
Yeah, it'll go to my phone.
until somebody just takes it, knocks the antenna off.
Oh my gosh, don't put that out there.
But I'm just,
Yeah, I know, I hear you,
I'm
I hear
just,
you.
and then if it's not, the camera does not work at night, unless you're gonna be in
Yeah.
a limited area, I wouldn't spend,
But what's,
that's when the damage
what's
is
the,
gonna be done.
what, so if we, so say
Maybe
if
put
we
a couple
agreed,
more
if we
lights in the
agreed it,
park instead.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
if we agreed it on it today, for example, when would it actually be installed?
About probably about a month and a bit.
So like, yeah.
Availability.
So like, we're still gonna be like, the thing is, this is an exceptional year, we've never had them there. So the thing is like, I'm of the approach, I'd rather just kind of wait and see, because that $2,000 we can put towards fixing up Centennial Park or anything
Well,
like
the
that,
big thing
right?
is, yeah, for
These are
sure.
recurring, these will have recurring costs on that. I'm not opposed to eventually getting it, but we end up having cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's Big Brother watching down at you everywhere, right?
One of the light standards of backup, the ones that were broke off and get them working and that more lighting and that may deterrent, I mean,
Because our cell phones are through Bell, are they not?
Yeah.
Because I know there's the one product that's gonna go off the cellular, like that's all off the cellular, you just have to run off your power.
Yeah.
And that's coming, I'm dealing with it on the construction side. So it's like, that is an option too, that
But
just
that's-
runs off cellular.
That's what the ring works off of as well. It can work off Wi-Fi or cell.
Yeah.
So I'm just
So-
putting out another option.
So what it sounds like is we just want to revisit it, just leave
Yes,
it.
please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Kevin, I can give you the name of that other company
okay,
that you can touch base with.
let's see what.
It's just, that's what they do. It's a little different, you know what I mean? Our IT guy doesn't do this, really. This is something that's another option you can do. You know what I
So
mean?
we'll revisit it, I guess, for
Yeah,
next
no,
meeting, or if it becomes an issue again, we can invite you to the
Yeah.
next meeting as well, but.
Someone had mentioned about a pitching mound for ball, and that was my last report, and so I went and got some prices, the high and the low. And it hasn't come back again, so I'm not sure
Okay,
where I
so
stand with that.
that was in the survey that Tracy put out,
Okay,
that we couldn't hold tournaments in Eganville because we didn't have a pitching mound. And I didn't really I mean, I played baseball, I guess, in high school, but I didn't know what the whole pitching mound thing was. And then the person wrote that they told somebody that we could buy a portable pitching mound, but then we told them that there was nowhere to store it. And I'm like, I've never heard of this. And I know that Lake Dory was obviously the preferable site to play baseball with your red Solo cup.
But is that mound for hardball? Is that a quote? Because like softball, you don't really need it.
yeah, and it was kind of a gray area, so I don't know, like, if it came out of that committee meeting, I'm not sure what direction they were heading in. So I'm not 100% sure.
This seems,
Previously, they haven't used a pitching mountain.
this seems to me to be getting awful professional for kids playing ball. I mean, you know,
No, I think this was for adult tournaments, Murph. I think that's what the guy was talking about. But I would say
no
we
problem
don't,
adding material.
Get a
to the
half-ton
field
truckload of
either.
sand.
I know, I didn't understand that. Like,
That's-
can't you
that's-
just build a mound?
No, but the approach I was gonna say is like, I'd rather just like spend some money to build it, and then if the request comes back for a pitching mound, then we can look at it or look at, we could set a group and fundraise and we can match whatever.
I think we can revisit this, because.
Until people are on the diamond kind of.
Yeah, until we get more, if there's more of an interest, then absolutely we'll.
Definitely.
Swim program,
Oh,
we've reached out. They've contacted me, they gave me a name. Whitewater gave me a name of the young lady, so I called her and she's staying in her, where she's doing her schooling. She's got a summer job there, so she said, no, thank you, but I appreciate the call. So we're all struggling with the same problem, so.
but you keep advertising, correct?
So you are aware of Red Cross, right? What the Red Cross is no longer doing the lifeguarding and swim coaching?
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Dan.
Oh, yeah, so Red Cross doesn't do that anymore. So your chances of finding a lifeguard and swim instructor are getting smaller and smaller all the time, right? So, and I think I brought this up a couple of years ago, if we don't keep the incentives up for a swim instructor in our area, we're not gonna have one. And that was a big issue, you know, because I've seen, you know, my kids go through and the Red Cross right from kindergarten right up through to certified life instructors, and now they don't offer that anymore. So there has been another, and my wife was a lot more up on top of that than I am, but there's been another entity that has taken on the lifeguard situation, but I don't think it's the same as our old Red Cross.
I knew I should have kept my credentials on.
So it's gonna be harder and harder to achieve that, right? So.
Would have been making more than being
So
mayor.
pretty much, we just have to, if we find one, we find one. It's unfortunate.
It's gonna be hard, but it's
It's
what we can. That's the thing though, because
Mhm.
it's a life skill, right? And
It is.
we should have that opportunity for our kids in our municipality. Because kids drowning is not good, right? We want to make sure that
Maybe-
we do
maybe,
everything we can to have the.
Maybe reach out to the lake associations and see if they have anyone on the lake that's qualified, even if they're slightly older, I
And
guess.
Kevin asked Dana to put it back on her social media. Because maybe it wasn't on people's radar, but now it's the middle of May. You know, kids are coming home from
Well, and
university.
the plus 36 and 30 weather just makes people want to swim. You know,
So-
it's so cold.
So can either yourself or Annette fill me in like we did, or maybe even Sandra. We have offered swimming lessons here in town for years and years and years, because that's where my kids got it.
Right.
So it was the Red Cross Swim Kids program that they were attending. Now, were you affiliated with them directly? Yes, direct. So have they give you any notification on not doing it anymore?
I have not received anything tonight, so I know.
Has anybody ever received? Because we had received it at home, because of course, Owen being in the lifeguard stuff, but he's moved on now, right? He's apprenticing to be a mechanic.
Yeah.
But he received all the stuff that Red Cross was no longer doing it. So I didn't know if we've
Well,
seen
maybe-
anything in the
I
municipality or
was gonna
not.
say, maybe we'll give Kevin and Ned time to
Yeah, check into it and
Cross
see
and
what
just
we can.
shoot us an email and just let us know. But anything we can do to help, then let us know.
Okay, the last little, I see the picture of the down the Fort Chute, anyways. To make it accessible, we'd have to put some kind of like a ramp down there, or whatever. And on our side upstream. You see the picture I sent you?
Yeah. Out there.
Yeah, I saw it.
She's on there.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
it's on the computer.
Yeah, so it'll be on there.
Thanks. so.
Because the North Algonah is just on the other side of the thing, and they just have a bunch of gravel down, and they just maintain their slope that way.
That's correct.
So we would probably just try to mimic it if anything. I know it might be a little steeper on that side, but
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's a lot
We
steeper on our
want to
side.
be careful with that because they may have done it prior to maybe some changes with the trails.
Yeah.
So,
For
but
compliance.
they'd have to eventually comply anyways, regardless.
I would think so.
Do you have to make it wheelchair accessible?
Yes,
That's correct.
But you need so that'd be a curb stomp on, or would it be a handrail?
It's probably going to be a handrail. We'd have to look in to see what's going to
Yeah.
work the best too.
Yeah. What about for crossing the bridge?
Pardon me.
Do you have to do anything for crossing the bridge?
no,
Well, the thing, we wouldn't have to because right now, they're coming out of that parking lot, north of one road force is on that side already. So if they do cross the road, like it's on, depends where they park the vehicle, I guess, too.
Well, the vehicle will have to park at Chris's, right?
Okay, then they're on north of the.
They're on-
road.
No,
They're not
but
even on
I'm
our
talking about crossing, if they're gonna come on our property or on Boncher Valley and cross the bridge. On North Dakota, they don't have to cross the bridge, right?
Correct.
So they have to walk across the bridge. Is the bridge wide enough for a wheelchair to go across it? That's all I'm
Well,
asking.
right
there's
now,
a,
it's 1 meter wide.
yeah,
So it's one.
there's a sidewalk, but not a sidewalk.
It's just,
Yeah,
So pretty much the stage right now is just
yeah.
see what the cost is gonna be and.
now Jace may have a little more info on that too, a little bit of material, and like it's.
Jason's like, don't bring me into this.
One,
No, we're-
one thing I did note, Jason, you guys should go down and check it. If you come from the Iglo, come across Fortune, there's no reduction in speed up coming there, you know, that the 50-kilometer sign is not there on our way. You know, when you turn off, there should be a 50-kilometer sign right before those houses, and there's nothing there. There's nothing. So you could legally come across and
You would do 80K.
you can do 80K right through that whole village. There's nothing until you get on North Agona, and then it says you're leaving 50, but there's no sign that ever says you're coming into 50.
So.
You know what I mean?
The approach isn't there, but the exit is.
Yeah, and the exit is on North Agona. The approach is in Boncher Valley, and it's not there.
So can we please get an estimate on this? I know that it's been a real bone of contention. I've been putting out fires about the fencing all over the place. And people are just gonna have to understand that it is private land and that their insurance and their liability insisted on having those fences put up, and we are doing our best to see if we can mitigate something so that people can go down and take wedding photos, et cetera, down there. But, you know, we don't have it budgeted for this year, so we definitely need to see if there's money and will that we do this.
So we just see what the cost is and go from there.
Do we don't need crosswalk signs then?
No, we do not.
So what Liam.
They were
told us,
wrong.
we don't know.
Don't even start.
Okay.
I,
Hey,
oh
Kevin,
boy,
and then,
it's
just
been a
on,
rough couple of days.
just on yours, we also just, for the boys, the council want to discuss as well. For the, no wake zone.
Oh, the committee is paying for those. And they're taking the dock out, and I believe they're just asking for some help with the boys, but that was it.
Does that answer your question, Kevin?
That does, for sure. Taking out the dock was the question we had.
I believe they're asking a resident downriver, that's their dock expert. I'm not gonna throw his name out there, but I believe they have it well handled, and they know where they're gonna store it during the winter.
Perfect, perfect. That's useful.
I try and make life easy.
Anything else?
Don't go anywhere.
Little-
So, exciting news, Taste of the Valley, August 26th. Yay! Oh,
Looks like an awful price for that no wake thing.
I was just going off memory, I thought it was the 26th.
Isn't that somewhere around Providence?
August.
No,
Are we before?
Cogden's is the week before Thanksgiving.
August 26th.
Oh, yeah.
We were before Cobden.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
You're right.
are we in harvest yet? Oh, yeah, August 26th, we are.
Yeah, we should be.
Yeah.
Perfect. So August 26th. Jennifer will give
Yay.
you that right.
What's that?
So you're right on it. Everyone was questioning
I'm just saying, guys.
She had all the answers too.
all the answers.
She got up early today.
I,
Kevin, carry forward. We'll try to
I'll-
get you out of here soon.
Yeah, I'll start on the Danish report, the zoning. You're all aware, public meetings. The shorelines, the couple, the Canada Day, fundraising for Archery Park. That's a big one.
while we're on that, can we talk about, so this is why this came up. Obviously, there's a shortage of parking down there, so in our EACDG meeting, we were talking about if there are campers and such down there, like that are overnight, it could cause a problem. And I know that we didn't want to stop people from stopping there with their camper, obviously, but we don't want camping, like, we don't want people getting out and like
Building a bonfire.
or having their hibachi. So I think that if we just put no overnight camping, that might help. And it's camping, like, don't get out your hibachi and start like utilizing, you know what I mean?
Well, hibachis are pretty good. and you
I
can
know,
make
okay,
tasty
you know what I'm
treats and-
saying, I'm just.
I understand it.
I'm
That's gonna
trying
be a tricky one where you're trying to allow one and not the other. And
I'm,
I don't know what you're,
I
the
just
problem with
wanted-
it, you're gonna have a big gray area there, right?
I know,
Best, just wait until we get
Yeah.
a complaint and we'll deal with it from there. I guess.
Because if you have people parking there
well,
overnight.
we've already had complaints this year.
But if you have people parking there overnight, where do you want them to eat? If they're not allowed to park there overnight?
No, it's camping that people are worried about.
Yeah, but. if
But
they're
the other
coming with
thing
their
is,
tra- if
the
they're coming-
last complaint I got, the camper was parked this way, like parallel to the river, not perpendicular to the river. So now they're taking up like 4 parking spots.
Well, they're using it, which is good.
Yeah,
So.
I'm
the
just
first
saying,
come,
we
first
are, well,
served.
we're gonna get more complaints. I've already had 4 or 5 actually this year alone.
Well, we'll refer to the bylaw officer then.
Then he's sitting right
And
there.
we'll refer it to him. He can.
But
then
the
if
thing
they
is,
don't have
we've already,
signage-
Yeah, but when you
we've
guys-
already determined that they're allowed to park, because like I said, it's good to have, and I just had this discussion. Actually, believe it or not, about a week ago with someone, they were asking me about that, and I said, well, we allow the overnight parking, and we would much rather see somebody that's tired on the road, because there's very few places in Renfrew County where you can actually safely get off the main street or the main road and sleep for the night, right? That we don't have the Walmart parking lots.
We
and,
discussed it,
you know,
we discussed it.
Absolutely,
Okay, but
absolutely,
it's-
you know,
Okay, so just so you guys know, it's gotten worse and people are now camping. They're using the park as a campground,
But if they're parking overnight, they're going to eat. If they're going somewhere.
not necessarily.
If they're going somewhere through, they're just gonna park and get up and leave.
They could.
Chances are that,
And we can't send bylaw out if it's not signed.
that's right,
So-
we don't
But
have,
what are we signing, but what are we exactly signing for though? If someone pulls a couple lawn chairs out on it and goes and
Well,
hangs
no,
out
I
and
was-
what's on, like,
That's why I said no overnight camping.
yeah, like, well, you can't pitch a tent. But
I don't know, yeah, to me, it doesn't
That's what
make sense. If you can go down there and eat lunch and sit around there and eat lunch. And if you're staying if you're parking for the night, you can't sit and have breakfast before you leave.
There were 2 specific instances where people actually had tents.
Oh,
But
Yes.
tents is one thing, but like. if
Now,
we're-
one was a tent off the camper, one was actually a tent.
what about a time limit? On the parking? What, would that solve it? Because that would remove, you know, like no more than 12 hours.
But.
Because if you're set up with a tent,
But Kevin, were you aware that people were tenting at McCrae's or no?
I don't recall ever, I never had a
So-
complaint about tenting down,
No.
campers, yes, tents, not, but
Yeah.
was it a tent?
One of them was the tent that comes off, you
Well, An
know?
awning off of the trailer.
Yeah, but it's tented. It's-
Yeah, oh yeah, screened in,
Yeah.
sure.
But they didn't actually put pegs in and set up a tent, hopefully.
I don't know.
But I'm just saying, if you're allowing people to eat during the day, how can you?
That's right.
We'll
How
just,
can you not allow them to have
we'll
breakfast?
just
What about a
monitor
tent
it.
trailer?
If there's monitor, if someone doesn't like it, then tell them to submit something to the township and we'll review it. Besides that, like if we've had one or two so far that I'm not even aware of, then.
No, I'm not
That's fine. Like, that's what I'm saying, is like, that's why,
I get all things McCray Park because people know I'm on the committee.
well, then flip it to.
Well,
For whoever to.
when do I reserve my site? Long weekend's coming up. We're going on in, right? Oh, boy, oh, boy. Not a bad spot, it's a good scenery,
Very
right?
nice, very nice.
Well,
Perfect.
yeah.
Kevin.
Good
Is that a washroom down there?
Perfect.
Pickleball at the public school, we've up to 14 participants, so it's been going real good. If we have some great weather, we're going up to the tennis courts, so they'll be good to go. Music in the park, starting June 24th, and July is pretty much booked. August is filling in as we go, so it's that's looking good.
Is there a piano what we're making?
I don't know.
August, yes.
Oh, okay, no question, sorry.
Yeah. The music, or not the music, but the library, the authors festival, about wondering if in the past, the fee was granted.
Yeah.
Can we continue on with that same process? Okay.
I would say yes. I just became a sponsor. Murphy's Auto became a sponsor first thing this morning, and it was a bug in my ear, and I did.
Yeah, it was giving me my libraries report as well.
Oh,
It was just
okay.
like the authors festival is for the 4 Mondays in
That's
July.
correct,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with
I am too.
waiving it. Any activity is good. So,
It's so nice that it's coming back, and the 4 authors sound really interesting.
oh yeah, no, it's gonna be a really good event. Volunteers are excited for it, so.
Anyways, they're a shop local distributor, lots of interest within the township, so anyways, that's pretty much the end of my report.
Perfect. Anything else for Kevin?
Run.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Kevin. Have a great day. Lisa?
Take care, Kevin.
Bye, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
You make Jason really fast. Halftime, yes. John Street, no. What the heck happened?
Did you send us a report?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
We got the
Yeah, that I did.
tenders.
Oh, it's under tender.
yeah.
Go ahead, Jason.
All right, so we did receive one tender back, or one quote back for the roof, the walls, the grouting, each trough, and some painting on the fire hall. It came in very high at $64,000 plus.
Postpone.
So I
Which is
would,
like $40,000 more than we had budgeted.
Yeah, so I would like council to reject that quote, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm currently looking at other ways for this project to,
Is there tin on it now?
no, there's not tin.
Oh, so
That's what the
painting
plan
it
is.
isn't enough.
No,
You know, there's a guy behind you that could probably help out if you wanted to put together a little,
a little beat.
right?
Yeah.
A little barn raising bee.
His knowledge of building and all things going up.
Daryl's looking at me
Yeah.
like, I'm going to kill you.
Probably he still has a tool belt. Right? He's there.
You can make it a team building exercise.
Yeah.
All the SLT. That's not
He's
even
smiling. Yeah,
That's not even
good.
paying
No
attention.
problem.
She's like,
We're in a-
I'm not
what a
engaging in
meeting.
that.
Perfect. So that's a no on that tender. Perfect.
And like I said, I'll be looking at other ways to get this at budget or other.
Even if we just slap some paint on and pressure wash and stop paint on.
Still need to put the roof
But
on.
the roof
Yeah.
needs to be done. That roof is really rough.
And even
Yeah,
like
but-
a soffit fascia afterwards, we can always
Oh, yeah.
pretty much do it, but it's like anything. like,
I'm
just see how
surprised it
goes.
didn't leak after the rainstorms we've had.
We're hopefully everything is.
Sorry, I shouldn't have put that out into the universe.
Been good.
Okay.
All Right, that's all I have. Any questions?
The only thing, you reviewed Pierre Langsford's request for.
Oh, yeah.
allowance.
Leasing the shoreline
Oh,
allowance
yes.
on Wyland.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that was granted.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just had a couple of requests or whatever.
Have you made any progress on one?
I have contacted the surveyors and I'm just waiting for the post to come back. And then we'll move on from there.
Okay.
Ministry I'll get in contact with next, well, maybe even this week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed your response to this request. Are you okay with that or,
Yes.
oh, you are, okay, good, sorry.
And the other request, which you go on diesel or what are you doing for the truck?
Yes.
Although now it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
yeah, diesel's more than gas now.
It's ridiculous.
Perfect.
No,
Anything else for Jason?
Yeah, just a quick question. I got some people calling me. Or do we, well, how do I want to put this? People have been calling me and they're surprised to see that we have an external contractor doing grading on our roads. So,
There's one employee that can grade and myself right now. There was some family situations where we got behind.
right,
So that's why I had to bring that individual in to do some grading for us.
but that's not gonna be customary then.
That's why I brought that person in.
You're in a tough spot if it's just you and somebody else.
Yes.
So how are we faring with getting?
We
more?
have a new employee coming. He will be starting on the 24th. And he does have some greater experience, so
Okay,
we're.
we should, you can't send any of your other guys that you freshly hired out for grading or not, or they're not up to the task. But anyways, that's between you and your man.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with me.
Were they excited to hear that there's no night shift?
Very much so.
I thought that they were gonna throw us a parade.
No, they're very excited about that.
That's great. And that makes me really happy. Then I told you before, I loved Chris's synopsis of it, but the money saved is incredible, but
Yes.
not having a night shift, I think is just, it's even more important than the money, I think,
Yes.
right? For safety, for you, for Dale, for the men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Perfect. That's everything.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thanks,
Thank you.
Jason.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
everyone.
Have a good
if
day.
you could just check that 50 ton,
Yeah, I will do that.
because that's,
Thank you.
somebody might have taken it down, I don't know.
There was one there before.
Yeah,
So
it should be right when you turn onto the road.
Yes.
There's a adopt the road sign, but there's no 50 kilometer or nothing.
It was at some point on there.
Well, I'm just thinking, did it not, you
Yeah.
guys didn't get moved when you guys did the road, did you? Anyways, doesn't matter, it's not there now, so.
Good, you, Daryl? Sorry for the delay, sir. We started a little late today.
Chair's a little off the ball.
Keep it professional, right? I control them sometimes, but they haven't seen each other for a couple weeks, so they get
Can we
excited.
get all
Gets out of
dated?
hand. Gets out of
There's
hand.
no
Not
mayor's
better.
report. There's no mayor's report today, so then it's.
We'll be ahead of schedule
We're
before
gonna
the
be
end of the
ahead of
meeting.
Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
So, Daryl, we'll give you the floor, sir.
Okay, so I guess we'll start with bylaws, seeing as there's a couple of comments there anyway. So I have sent out a couple of property standard letters. I did receive one response, and the gentleman was a little confused. He thought he was supposed to be dealing with Atherton Romney. So I reached out to him again, and he hasn't contacted me back. I did take a drive out. They have cleaned up some of it, but I'm going to be issuing an order to complete the rest to give them the timeline. So it's out in the Douglas end, Hindford end, I should say.
The
And the
mayor
other-
of Hindford will be very thankful. Thanks for taking care of that.
And the other property, they just took it upon themselves to start cleaning up.
Wow.
So what I did was I sent a letter with a bylaw and pictures that I took, so they would knew that I was there. So it's just, it wasn't, with not, nothing with parking, nothing with the animals that I control. I talked to Tammy, and she said there was a couple of dogs in North Algonah and Rankin, but I said, we don't deal with it anymore. So that's been quiet. I have no special projects. As I grow into getting to know you guys a little more, my reports may become a little more detailed, but
Good question. No issues with boat launch or one shore?
You didn't just say that.
I did take a
That's
drive
like
out.
saying Beetlejuice. Why would you do
Well,
that?
because I'm surprised.
Everyone, can we refer back to Daryl, please?
Yeah.
I did take a drive out there just to familiarize myself with the area, and I talked to one of the ratepayers, and I just kind of get a sense of what's going on. He said everything's fine, but from what I gather,
Okay,
it's
well.
not. So I guess we'll wait and see. Maybe after this weekend, it may start.
I was going to
I'm
say,
surprised.
that's why Beetlejuice over here shouldn't have said anything, because it's the
It's
May
probably
4
inevitable.
weekend.
It's inevitable.
But it's
If you
like.
would have had a mic, we would have muted it, you know that.
You guys gotta learn to face the music. It's gonna come, so you know, get Daryl ready for the music. It's gonna go.
Oh, yes. That's what you're here for. You're here to have the big shoulders there, Daryl.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Perfect. Anything else on bylaw?
No, everything on the bylaws has been, like I said, I just gonna follow up. I'm sure there's going to be, as stuff comes in, I'll deal with it. I did have a gentleman come in actually for a noise complaint, and I had them fill out the complaint in writing,
Mhm.
so that way I can track it. And I did send a letter out again with a bylaw on noise, and we'll have to go from there. I'll just keep on top of it. So I update the person as well, so they know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's
So it
perfect.
keeps them in the loop. So.
Good job, Daryl.
So as for my building, again, I used the report that I'm familiar with, and I added a little extra to it
I seen
I
that.
like that.
after the conversation that we had the last time. So the first one is going to give you, it's going to show you all your assessments.
Did it take extra, like quite a bit extra to do?
No, because what I do is
Okay.
I have an impact report that I fill out, and then this was for StatsCan. And
Yep.
all I used to do was copy and paste, and then I
Yep.
faxed them out. Now, StatsCan's changed their reporting requirements, but I'm gonna still continue to do this because it's just copy and paste from impact, and then I just. add-
So it was, as long as it's not extra
No,
on your end and.
But I
Perfect.
I really liked it that we got sort of the month and then the summary,
It
and
breaks
the
it down.
summary
Yeah.
didn't have all the extra stuff.
So
Yeah.
with this report, the first one, like I said, it'll encompass everything in, and this one's gonna break all the current values out, so you
Yeah,
can see.
that was fantastic.
Yeah, so if you're okay with that, we'll just continue with
That was
that.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Okay,
Excellent.
so.
Yeah, I was just wondering, just off the cuff, there's quite a bit of building going on Ruby Road. Have you issued building permits for that?
There's a few, I'm getting calls for
Like
older
a
permits.
double garage, and then there's another two additions.
I haven't been receiving calls from them, but I know, I'm getting calls for permits that were issued back in 2020, and I know there's within the building code, once they lapse a certain length, but because of the pandemic, we're kind of just ignoring that a little bit, but I will, when I drive by something and I see it, I make a note of the address and I come back and check.
Yeah.
So I haven't checked on that one on Ruby just yet. I did see the grass. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I really don't know because I wasn't here when
Yeah.
they were issued or not.
Yeah.
But so far it's been going well. I've been,
Now there's the big garage and now two smaller ones behind that.
okay. Well, I'll have to take a drive out. I'm out that way. I'm not out that way as much as I am kind of going this way
Yeah.
before I mount and back towards Grattan. But it's been going well. I've been meeting with local contractors and building a rapport with people coming in for permits and trying to be pleasant. Sometimes it's hard to do. People can be demanding, but that's everywhere. So other than that, it's going well. I told them that I really enjoy what I'm doing here. I don't feel any pressure whatsoever. I just, I'm very, very relaxed.
Maybe we have to turn it
Oh
up. a
my
little bit
gosh,
on
yeah.
here. Annette, do you have any work for Daryl to do outside?
Wow.
Workload, it's the fire department.
Okay. We thought maybe we could find something else for you
Oh,
in the
yeah.
municipality, you know?
For sure.
Where's Jason again? We got some building to do.
You
Yeah, trainer.
Later.
So everyone will be
Be
great.
careful there. Be very careful when you say no pressure on us. We got us to walk in the park.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying because of the fire department, which I announced my retirement.
Oh, a little bit of weight off the
Yeah.
shoulders. No, and the council's pretty relaxed here too.
Well, the council was relaxed down there. It was just my-
Not like
No,
this.
not like that.
Not like, you can't say it was like.
Well,
that.
this is only my second round with you guys, but I'm
Oh.
sure it's gonna get to know each
Yeah.
other a little more.
Yeah.
So-
Maybe. eh?
It's true.
So other than that, I mean, I said things are good. I just been, plugging away and issuing permits and, again, getting to know people.
No, and Jack did step on something there that was probably a reoccurring thing here at the table. You know, it's one of the things that you're probably gonna be aware of, which is Wild Shore. We all hear about Wild Shore.
Yeah.
But you know what that's all about, and hopefully that
Well,
that stays to a minimal and.
Well, the thing is, you can go in with fresh eyes too.
yeah, well, that's why I went.
And
on
you don't go in with any
back.
baggage, you go in and say, what's the issue here? You know what I mean?
Well,
I
it's like-
wasn't exactly sure what it was, and I went out there, I seen all the, parking signs. When a gentleman was putting his top of his deck on his dog, that's when I stopped and asked him. I said, is it because of people parking all the way down the road? And he just mentioned about the boat launch, and people are parking in certain areas.
But it's a good thing for you to have a drive out, because I've also seen people put their own personal signs up along certain areas and try to enforce it, so you know what's ours and what's
Yeah.
not.
Because
So just as another, it's good for you to familiarize yourself with what's out there, because you could end up in a situation where you're.
caught in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be good once the survey's done, you can know
Yes.
where the line is.
Okay,
Do you have a magnet
Because
for the
there's
side of your
some-
vehicle that says your
I think there'll
bylaw?
be surprises.
I would probably prefer not.
Yeah,
Okay,
because there's always argument about where's the line. and it's not there.
What I want to do is get myself a lanyard that I'm just gonna wear.
Just credentials on your person.
Just the credentials.
Yeah, that's a good
Just
way to be. A
something.
good policy prevents the.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
definitely like an enforcement officer.
I know, I heard Mark used to wear a suit for a uniform.
He had like a little thing on
Yeah,
his
I used to have a
badge.
lanyard.
Yeah,
His element
is
is
that the
just,
Eagles nest?
so I have it in my wallet when I was fire chief.
sidearm
No,
or
that's
whatever.
No, that's all that doesn't come.
Perfect. Anything else for Daryl?
Right on, Daryl.
Well, have yourself a great day, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, really? Okay.
Take care, Daryl.
Annette, we're up to you now.
I want to start off by saying no. That knows exactly what I'm talking about.
So the first thing on my report is the community safety and well-being plan. So we were very fortunate to be allowed into this group because they have spent money and they have put a lot of time into preparing this plan. They did allow us in, so we are going to make some changes to the plan, as you saw in my little notes, and add in Wilshire Valley, and then I will come forward with the changes to the plan so that council can pass it, and then we will have the benefit of all of their work for our municipality. So moving forward, I know council, was not in favor of putting together this plan because we didn't want just one more plan that sat on a shelf, right? We wanted to have something that was actually going to do something for the community. And so that is what they're proposing for the next stage, is to put together an implementation stage so that the plan doesn't just sit on the shelf, so that we are actually having activities moving forward that will inform and assist people in the municipality. So the cost to participate with the 5 municipalities is $6,400 in the implementation stage. And I did request that, because this is not going to be done, we're already in May. This is not going to be completed, this implementation stage, by the end of the year. So my request back to the consultant was, I can understand we want to go forward with the implementation stage of the plan. If we wanted to do that, would it be possible to do that over 2 budget years? So $3,200 this year and $3,200 next year, and take the year to move forward with implementation. And so that is, and I've outlined the implementation, the key things that they want to do. So they want to have these teams sort of discussing any of the gaps or the needs specific to the plan and the areas of concern, and creating exactly a timeline and how are we going to put this plan into action, and what is it that the community needs going forward, and what is the timetable, and how do we achieve that? What groups do we work with? So that is what we're asking today. So they've included us in the plan. The plan will come forward for passing at a future meeting. And we're having a meeting on Thursday with the 5 municipalities to say who is interested in participating in the implementation plan. So, I'm hoping that committee council would agree to that, because I do feel like they've let us in this late stage. We didn't have any skin in the game in the first round, and so it's going to be difficult for me to go back to this meeting if all of them are agreed to move forward with the implementation stage, which they may not. So we may have other partners pull the plug, and if they do, that's fine, then we won't move forward either. However, you know, it's going to be difficult for myself to go to this meeting and if the rest of the municipalities are wanting to move forward, saying, thanks very much for including us. Yeah, we're going to step away from the table now at this point. So I'm hoping that committee and council does not put me in that position. However, it is your decision whether you want to move forward. And I do feel like we do have at least the 3,200 in the budget this year under consulting. So, you know, the funds are there if council is willing to move forward. And if not, then I will advise the group back this Thursday. And that is my first sort of request of the committee today.
So I'm not going to be the one to put you in that position. I have to get it out there. Did everybody read the 36-page document that Annette gave us? Did everyone look at it?
I looked at it,
Okay.
and I read certain sections that I was interested in.
Okay, so I read the whole document because I wanted to know how on earth this is serving the well-being of our communities. I have no idea how this turned from, it's going to reduce 911 calls. It's going to help with mental health and addiction. There is nothing in this document that makes me think that it's going to be of use to the OPP or anybody else. It is going to sit on a shelf. And I'm going to leave it at that, but Annette, I will not put you got us into something that was already in progress. So I will acquiesce, but I am not happy. I'm not happy with you. I'm not happy with the process. If this was something that I thought would actually be useful to officers, boots on the ground, I would be fine with it. But there are more pictures in this document than verbiage.
Oh, yes, it was colorful.
And I know that Attachment Commander Patrick Sparrow is very supportive of this initiative. I'm sure, you know, both Sandra and Jack sit on the police services board. He's definitely, would be willing to come in and do a presentation if
No,
council
thanks.
wants to know
No,
how it's going to benefit us.
No, thanks.
Okay,
I get drilled continuously every police services board meeting. I
No,
go to.
and
How come this isn't done?
I
Hey,
go back.
Sandra?
I go back to the
Yeah,
Cullen slate,
continuously.
so no,
I understand.
and it is morphed from that, and you know it, it morphed. So drastically. And again, if I thought that this document, especially with mental health and addiction,
I think,
if I thought it was gonna help guys, I would be fully on board. I think this is a waste. It's a waste of shelf space, quite frankly. And that's all I'm gonna say about it, because it's gonna make it into the media that I was freaking out like I was about 512, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Murray, you had a couple comments?
Yeah, I agree with Jen there. There was more of a look at how great I am. Rather than,
Agreed.
but the other side of the coin, why should we invent our own wheel?
That's how I feel, Murph,
You know?
Yeah.
Why should we invent our own wheel? Join in.
considering that some of these plans were $30,000.
Yes.
well, it's a lot of
Councillor
money.
Susan, you had a comment?
I just, I'm never in favor of more. So,
All I can say is.
sorry, Annette.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I just mean, sorry, Annette.
I know.
You're gonna have to go with your decline as far as I'm concerned.
All I can say is, I sit on the police services board and Sandra can attest to it continuously every meeting. It's, when are you doing, when you have, when are you gonna get it done? It's one of the first comments. It's not only from our staff sergeant, it's also from the two other members that are on the board that are pushing for this.
So have you ever asked the question?
What's
why-
the purpose in it?
What, exactly.
And my officers will use this, so they know when they come. I
Oh.
said, really? They're gonna take
Oh,
the
I
time
can't
to
even.
read this? But
Oh.
I can't even.
The unfortunate thing, it's like, a lot of things get passed down to us, it's a check mark we have to hit. And that's it. I'm not saying I agree with the plan, we've heard that. I was gonna ask Jen how do you tell us how you feel about it,
Yeah.
but we're,
yeah, so like, it's,
Look,
The-
I don't
the
know
thing
if
is-
you get angry, but when I do.
the thing is, if we're gonna have to do it, this is probably your cheapest option. to do
Yes.
it.
Agreed.
100%. for 60.
And somehow Annette, like, she got her way in there, so.
So Annette, it sounds like you have your answer.
I have my answer, the plan is okay. Can we move forward with the implementation or?
We have to do implementation.
So we don't, no, we do not have to, and I don't know how the other municipalities will feel. It's quite possible one of them will pull the plug on the initiative. But we are all supposed to come back on Thursday this week to say yay or nay. And I would rather not go back to them and say nay after they've accepted me into the group, put their money and their work and said, sure, we'll include Boulder Valley. So here's our next step. I don't want to be the one at the table that says no. I know we got $5,000 for policing and cannabis and that kind of stuff, grant money. We have, which we haven't spent, and we haven't put that towards any initiatives. So I'm asking if we can move forward with the implementation or not. I realize the plan is a go. So
Now,
that's,
the question I have in that is, do we as Boncher Valley have to have a plan like this in place?
yes, we do.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
what,
we do.
that's
We
what
have to
I,
have it.
Yes.
that's what I was,
Yes,
you
we do.
know,
And
and
that's,
we don't have a choice.
The gods
basically.
in Toronto have spoken.
we
Well,
don't
that's
have,
what I'm.
we don't have a choice. They've allowed us in. They're going to make the edits that I have suggested, and we will be in, and this plan will come forward with those edits. So it'll be prettied up. It'll have our logo, all of those things. But they're moving on to step 2 now, and they are saying in the implementation stage, are the 5 municipalities involved in this group now willing to put, $3,200 towards this implementation stage for this year? If somebody else pulls the plug on it, that's fine. I don't want to be the one that pulls the plug on that because they were kind enough to let me in
Yeah.
without charging us
Yeah,
anything. So that's,
without charging. How much would it, if we did it ourselves, how much would it cost?
if we did the whole plan ourselves, I think it probably would cost us at least 20 grand.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
I would have thought more, but anyway, yeah, I think that's right.
So the implementation plan may not go forward because one of the other 5 may pull the plug. I don't want to be the one at the table that was graciously
You have to
accepted.
go last.
Yeah.
With no, come on in, yeah, no problem, and here's your
And
plan.
then Annette goes, nope.
Yeah, thanks very much, and I'm going to now pull the plug.
Well,
on
the
next
thing
step.
is, we need a plan. The
Yes.
township needs a plan.
Yes,
No, we're legislated to
Yeah.
have a plan.
Well, there,
Yeah.
so.
I want that. very
I
clear.
don't say that we need a plan, but we're obligated to.
Exactly.
Are obligated to produce a plan. That's
Yes.
basically not need, but we're obligated to. So if we're under an obligation to provide a plan, this would be the cheapest way to
Yes.
get a
Yeah.
plan.
yes,
That's-
so we have the plan, and what I'm asking is, are we willing to put up $3,200 this year and $3,200 next year in order to continue forward with this group, if they so choose to do so, because they've been kind enough to,
So what
Allow
happens
us
if
to
they don't
plan.
choose to continue on? Then where do we?
then
What
we're in the plan, and there's no
No fee.
further investment, so I just don't want to be the only one at the table who's unwilling to put up 3,200 or 6,400 over 2 years, when they've been so gracious to let us in.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, and I'm not saying we have to go forward any further, but, the cost of the plan for $6,400, and we're getting the plan and the next implementation stage, if everybody's on board, which I don't know that yet, I won't know that till Thursday. That's what I'm asking.
And once it's implemented, when I see an officer on the street, I'm gonna quiz them. I'm gonna carry the plan around with me, and I'm gonna quiz officers as I see them on the plan to find out their education level and how much they've really absorbed of it.
So, do I
I'm
have an
sorry.
answer?
Yes, you do.
I'm okay, you're okay, thank
I mean, you're. None of us
Look at
are,
her,
none
she
of us
doesn't
are
make me
happy,
mad.
but
Oh, she went from red to green to white and.
Thank you very
green to
much.
red again.
I do appreciate that, and then I'll report back whether or not it goes forward, but
That's
we do have the funds, and it does put a chip.
it's not even, it's not the money. It's, for me, it's the,
Point.
exactly.
It's the principle,
It
right?
is the principle of the
Like,
thing. It just
yeah.
drives me crazy.
And how much was our costing this year for, anyway?
Exactly. You've got one other thing.
I have a couple other things, so, the human resources policy review, so I'm gonna come forward with that at the next meeting.
Yeah.
I put the major changes down there, I don't think there's anything too brutal there. The 3 weeks holidays in the third year, it's the same as our collective agreement. I don't know why our non-union staff doesn't receive that. And use of internet and IT, I think that's an important policy. I don't know why it wasn't included in there either. And the disconnect from work is required. So that's
We just did this at county at finance and admin, and I asked if the disconnect from work could be a thing for the elected as well. Apparently it's not.
And then the other,
Oh, yeah.
the quadricycle in correspondence. I know
Yes.
we didn't get to correspondence yet, but I just want to make sure that we do cover that because
Yep.
if we're going to add that, that needs to come forward. And the same with the Langford, the
Yep.
shoreline road allowance.
Yep.
And then I have one other comment to make because I just want to clarify our open house is happening on Thursday. So it's from 6 to 8, and then the public meeting to consider the zoning bylaw is on June 1st. I did receive some concerns from residents who received some information from the Lake Clear Property Owners Association, and I want to clarify for anybody watching and for the public how the open house and how the public meeting works. So I just want to clarify that you do not leave any comments or questions for the public meeting at the open house. Comments provided at the open house will not form part of the public record. And in order to retain the right to appeal any decision of council to the bylaw, oral submissions can be made at the public meeting on June 1st, or written comments can be submitted to the attention of the township before the bylaws passed by council. I just want to be clear for that because there was information that was going out that you could leave your comments at the open house. And I want to make sure, yes, you can leave comments at the open house, but they won't form part of the public record, so they don't retain your appeal rights. So I want to make sure that the public's aware of that. And just a reminder that the open house is a time for questions or clarifications regarding the bylaw, and it's not a time for general inquiries. So if you have a question about your property and how the bylaw affects it, that's great. Come on in, ask it. County staff will be there, township staff will be there. We're happy to chat with you. But if you want to know, can I get a severance on my property, or I'm looking into doing something else, county staff's going to be available at the township office starting the first Tuesday of the month for general inquiries. So June 7th, July 12th, August 9th, give us a call. We'll set up an appointment. You can come in and talk with county staff for any planning inquiries that you have that don't have to do with the bylaw. You just want to know more stuff about planning in your property. So please don't take up time at the open house. That's specifically for the bylaw, but come on in and see us the first Tuesday of the month, and the county staff will be here. June 1st public meeting is for council to consider the proposed bylaw. So public comments received in writing or made by those attendants in the meeting, which could be by Zoom or in person. Those are the ones that will retain their rights to appeal should they wish to. County staff's going to be in attendance at that meeting. They don't have a presentation plan because they've already presented the bylaw. However, they will be here. So if there's a question on process or something that needs clarification, that's fine. But there's not going to be a question and answer period. So there was also a comment about that. It's not going to be, we're talking about the bylaw, council's considering it. If there's concerns made, there's comments made, that's fine. But it's not going to be a question and answer session, just so that people are aware of that. The copy of the draft file is available for everyone. It's on the website. We've had people come in here too and ask for copies. Meetings are available on YouTube. All of that information is out there. I also want to clarify that there's no changes to the RV provisions. They're not removed from the bylaw. There's just no change. They're what the RV provisions are right now in the current zoning bylaw. And council is going to be reviewing those provisions separately in the months to follow. So if you have comments or concerns regarding the RV uses in the township, these are going to be addressed at future meetings. So we're not addressing those. They're staying as it is for the time being. And that's in order to allow the right amount of time, because that's obviously a bone of contention in the municipality. The at capacity designation has a lot of people talking for Lake Clear, and that is addressed in the proposed zoning bylaw. And it does conform to the official plan and the provincial policy statements as they are right now. It's in there. It also has not been removed. It is part of the bylaw, and it does conform with those, like I said, the province and the county. So it does conform, it is in there. And it is available on our website if you want to see that. So I just wanted to clarify those things so that people coming to the open house and coming to the public meeting and curious about the zoning bylaw are more clear on process, and you know, people are not doing things that are not going to get where they want to go. And I think that's all I have, unless there's questions on the financials.
Nope, seems good.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. So moving on to correspondence A. Discussion. Perfect. So in correspondence B, obviously we have the Ontario Highway Traffic Act, the large quad recycle. Annette, do you want to comment on that?
So just if this is something that council is interested in including, so we have our ATV bylaw, right, which we amended it a couple of years ago to add some other things. Are we interested in having quadricycles in the township of Blanchard Valley?
I would think that we should, so that if the county and the province allows them, then you're not trying to figure out what roads you're on. It's consistent.
I've never even seen a quadricycle.
Oh, I have in Nashville, that you can get on one. Right?
All right.
Oh, yeah, and you don't have to get off until you fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So if that's what you want, I can certainly add that to the bylaw.
I don't see it being an immediate concern,
It
but,
hasn't come up. Yeah.
but that might pertain to something that I'm talking about on our next, number 4, so, hey.
Okay.
You
There you
never
go.
know.
So
No, you don't know where things take off, right?
You
So,
don't.
Perfect.
I'll
So
create the bylaw for the June 7th meeting,
Bring it
and then if it passes, I can let Pat DeSeverio know, and then we're good to go with that.
and
Have a good time.
then Jason was good with Peter Langsford. Do you have
Mhm.
comments on that as well?
So this is a funny one. It's the shoreline road allowance, but it's the specific little square that the public is using to access the water. It's not the access off Wyland Shore for where they launch the boats. It's just right beside it. So I hesitate to call it a beach, but it is some public access
It
to
is
the
kind
water.
of a little beach, yeah.
So a lot of the other properties along there lease their shoreline. This does attach to Mr. Langford's property. And he would like to lease it. So 2 things, he's selling his property. The lease is non-transferable, so the new owners would also have to then go through this process again. Number 2, there will be a clause put in the lease that it will still remain open to the public.
Mhm.
So it won't be exclusive use. And also the property owner that has a right of way through that piece of property also has signed off and has no issue with Mr. Langford leasing it. So
That's sort of what made me lean towards both of those items are sort of
Yes.
where, yeah.
So
I thought
it's an
so.
interesting one because he'll be leasing it, so he's taking on some liability because he's leasing the property. However, it's still available to the public and available to him at the same time and the right of way. So I'm not sure what the benefit is.
I was
that
just
he's
gonna say,
receiving
I
from
don't
it.
know.
no,
What's the purpose of leasing it then?
Well,
He already-
that
he
is
already has
my,
that now.
I think the purpose of leasing it is because he's selling his property and he wants to assure anyone who's purchasing it that they have access. Like
oh,
a
yeah.
10-year lease access.
Oh,
Yes,
So-
yes, and it's, so as we've seen in previous where fences and such have gone, yes, no, that
That
makes
makes
sense.
So I think that is his
Okay.
benefit.
No, that
So,
makes sense now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I mean, because it has public access, it's no different than the rights of anybody else, except that he's leasing it. So it's a little interesting, and of course. there's a
But it would
termination
make the
clause.
sale more attractive once it's put like that.
So
Um,
currently,
the house, the beach, the house to the lake
Mhm.
is like from me to Esther. It's not a very big,
Mhm.
big swath.
so currently, who's responsible for liability now? The township?
Yes. So it's an interesting, and we would still own the property, it would just be leased. But yeah, so it's interesting. And of course, once the property does sell, that individual would have to again sign a new, like, we'd have to go through the whole process all
Right.
over again. So it doesn't guarantee it's non-transferable. So, but if council is okay with this in principle, I will certainly let him know. And if he wants to proceed, well, then the process is outlined in our bylaw.
Yeah, but if it's non-transferable, it really doesn't do
No, it
anything.
doesn't generate
It
this.
doesn't help with the sale or
No,
nothing.
no.
It's really of no purpose. I don't understand.
Yes, so if council's okay with it in principle, I will let him know all of those things, and if he wants to proceed, the process is there, and he's welcome to.
As long as public
proceed.
still has access.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
That's
to
all I
me,
care
to me,
about.
I just don't understand why he's leasing if it's non-transferable, dude, it doesn't help with the sales of property
No.
whatsoever.
I guess because if council is willing to lease it to one person, he figures they'd be willing to lease it to another.
But with the same conditions, the new,
Yeah,
new
Yes, with
owner,
the
you
same,
know.
with the same conditions, and that new owner would have to apply again, and I think the fee is $200, and they'd have to pay it again, and
Just gives an answer to
Yeah.
the question they're gonna get, I
Yeah.
guess. All right, I'm fine with it.
thank you.
Was there anything else in correspondence? No, perfect. Okay, we'll move to correspondence C, and there's nothing, perfect. New unfinished business, library board update. Pretty much the Authors Festival, will be the 4 Mondays in July. So they have everything booked up, and there's a lot of good interest, which is great for the community, just another event. They'll be doing Boople Rocks again, November 12th at the Legion. They have their band booked. There's a band coming from Ottawa, and a lot of the high schoolers are all really familiar with them, so it's good. And they'll release that on a later date, obviously. They profited $1,300 from the online auction as well, which is good, and they have a couple other fundraisers coming, but Boople Rocks is the really big one this year on top of the Authors Festival as
no
well.
library dinner.
Not planned. No
Okay.
stands. Yeah, that's pretty much everything on the library. Anything else? Perfect. Truck tenders, we've already talked about. John Street roof, not a very good year to do cheap construction, is the best way to put it.
No,
It's gonna be
really not.
expensive no matter what, so nope, I've shelved. Brooker's cider, I'll turn that over to Councillor Sisson.
Okay, so, now they didn't approach me, but I know it's been brought up before at the table. Merv has asked questions before if this cidery is open. And also we did talk with the owners last year, and we give them a approval on what's going on, and I just stumbled across that they are having basically the first on-site retail store day for it is on Friday from 12 to 5, and they are also offering a tasting. So it's Friday 12 to 5, Saturday 1 to 5, and Sunday 12 to 5. So
That's every week?
that's right now is where I'm not sure the rest of their hours, Merv, but that's what they're doing this weekend. They have basically their opening for the cidery is this weekend with their tasting.
So I would love to take them a certificate, congratulating them on their opening.
Yes.
Is anybody available? We've got the boot toll here that I promised to help out with on Friday afternoon. I know people love it on May 2 weekend. Does anybody have time on Friday afternoon to go with me?
I will definitely make
You'll
time
go?
for it. Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so I
what
know
time-
Trina wants to go too, so
What time do you wanna,
whatever works, it doesn't matter. Friday
Okay.
afternoon is fine.
so like 2 or 3 o'clock?
Sure.
Okay, so why don't I just call you or text you?
Yeah, and if any, what
Yeah,
about yourself,
does
Merv,
so-
or Brent, or anybody
Actually,
else?
I'll probably go separately. I won't be able to make the 5 PM on the Friday.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But Saturday, Sunday, I'll probably swing by.
You'll swing by?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I love, we
Can I
love,
get
we
a
love
certificate
cider.
name? Thank you.
Send me an
Yeah.
email what time you're settling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sure, Merv, for
Yeah.
sure. What about you, Jack? Any?
Yeah, probably, should
Yeah,
be able to make it.
Yeah, so
that's
I'll
really
just
nice.
just flip an email to everyone what time you guys
Okay.
organize.
yeah, no, we're all interested for
Yeah.
sure. So that's,
So why don't we say we'll meet here at 2 o'clock?
okay,
Yeah,
Friday too.
yeah.
sure. Yeah, so we haven't been able to do this in
I
a
know,
while,
that's, well,
so,
that's what I
Yeah.
said. Let's make it a team exercise.
Trina?
oh yeah, Trina wants to go, sure. Yeah, absolutely. She was the one who brought it up to me, so I didn't take her.
You'd be in
And she's
trouble.
probably watching on YouTube now. and
God,
I said,
what?
Tim's driving.
"Ah." Oh, I'm close enough to stagger, so, yeah.
No, that's perfect.
Okay. That's
I
great.
have a meeting 1:30, 1:15, 2:15, so.
Well, even, we have no hard time set,
Yeah,
so
I
whatever
was gonna
works for the
say.
majority, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's 4 o'clock,
No, I'm done at 2:15,
Oh,
my
or-
meeting, so
I
2:30
can't,
would work fine.
2:30.
2:30, okay,
2:30,
2:30 here. So I can't do 4 o'clock because I did promise.
No.
Okay, oh yeah, that's right, sorry.
2:30 fine.
I get my hands dirty with the money. All right, and our lovely staff will make up a congratulations on your opening certificate. I hope they're not watching.
And if they are, they'll be waiting for us.
That's right, exactly.
Well, any support's good, right?
Absolutely. No, it's fantastic.
It's pretty neat, like you see, like another business that they go through the rezoning act process, and then you see them actually opening, it's neat, right?
It is,
Go
it's
through the
exciting.
process.
Because I've been watching their website now through the winter, and they've been steadily kind of updating and adding, and finally they've had
Very
the test,
exciting.
the tasting coming around, and with it being in Bonaire Valley, that's absolutely
yeah.
amazing, so,
I dropped around last fall, they had the booth built where they're going to sell to the public.
yes,
I guess now it's gonna be finished. You'll be able to buy there.
yes,
That's nice.
yes, yes.
All right, and I just have a quickie, both Bell Canada and Hydro One have reached out regarding the relocates on 512, apparently having a bit of a hissy fit at county and at this table paid off because they actually had a site visit yesterday. I spoke with the woman from Hydro One late yesterday afternoon. She wasn't exactly sure where they landed after the site visit, but I will say that any momentum is good momentum at this point, and I should know more by the end of the week. And I will report at our next meeting whatever I find out. If there's something major, I will send out an information email, but request that you don't respond. Just so that you guys, if you're asked, just so that you're aware of what's going on. If there's nothing huge, I will just leave it alone until our next meeting. But I just thought that everyone, I was very pleased that Bell Canada reached out on May 9th and Hydro One reached out on Thursday, last Thursday, so
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Anything more, just provide it in.
I will, I'll provide the information, but I mean, just the fact that they went out, I think is good news.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's item number 6. We'll go back to item number 5. So we're fundraiser for the Ukraine, June 17th. For
So-
our donation.
Yes. So it is a $500 donation.
Okay.
Gerald just asked me via email how much it was, and Annette furnished me with the amount, so I let him know, and it will be in the ad next week. But I would encourage anybody that can attend on June 17th. I think that we should all go and support this endeavor. I don't really have times or anything. All I know right now is June 17th, so.
No, that's perfect.
No post there.
Number 7, Taste of the Valley. We established that August 26th, which is great.
I'm so excited.
And then we just had the EACDG, and we discussed that with Kevin. Yeah, so that's everything. There is no media. Oh, established the next meeting. That's June 7th at 3 p.m.
No, 2:30 because we're gonna do EACDG or DGC.
But
No, but
council
for this,
is,
Oh, for this, sorry, I just didn't
Or
want anybody
committee
to
is.
forget.
Sorry,
Because you might
the
show up.
secretary made note prior. So the next meeting is June 7th for a committee at 3 p.m. Perfect. Then there is no closed sessions. That's perfect. Could ask for adjournment. Councillor Citizen, all those in favor? Perfect. Thank you very much. Annette, could you please take us off device?
thank you everyone for attending